Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes. One of the challenges that I'm often faced with trying to help clients through is really articulating the ROI of these mammoth investments that they have to make. I mean, they've been running P&Ls that have had fully depreciated assets on them now for decades. And so, you're looking at this maybe perhaps artificial, expense ratio. Now, all of a sudden you've got to go dump $40 million, $50 million in a modernization, and everything just gets all out of whack. How do you help communicate the kind of the ROI? Are there particular kind of internal or external KPIs that you got to be focused on even beyond just the P&L? Give me some thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really, kind of one of the key, I'm sure you see this, it's one of the key contributing factors to complacency, if you will.
Yes.
When we start to kick off these mammoth undertakings, it's an organizational drain. The organization wasn't looking for something else to do because it was already overprescribed. And so, yes, we have, in fact, internally, a value engineering function. This is a team that we have dedicated specifically to the value creation, to assisting, organizations. So, my role is an industry leader. There was typically a former C-level executive across Appian's verticals. And then we have us paired up with, our value engineers that are also, industry experts combined with that value focus. And it's really, if you kind of go and unpack, what eventually rolls up to a $40 or $50 million investment, and we can't look past, we can't change the past. All we can do is look forward. And that's where being able to put together, both the ROI, which one could poke holes and argue is academic, right? But then let's align that very tactically speaking with deliveries that are in weeks, not in years, and we're full agile. And, if you look as an organization, we deliver major features in 8 to 10 weeks. And I mean, measurable ROI. And so when you can see that, and that's the joy of it, when you can start, small yet high, impact. When I say small, we're not talking about some cutesy use case that they've already benefited with, RPA or something. We're talking about, major, feature function, yet being able to deliver that 8 to 10 weeks. Then you go back to the ROI balance sheet and you just start circling those areas that, we're within. And I am very, very pleased and very proud of our organization in the context of how we continue to say we believe we can achieve X, and we typically overachieve Y. And of course, there's been some missteps, yet that's opportunity for us to bring back into our product team, bring back into our organization and say, hey, when we tuned this model and we expected this result, how do we not achieve it? And that's one of the things I personally, this day, really thrive with the Appian commitment, is that we're just maniacal about the experience, and that's pervasive in our culture. So
yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here because you got me intrigued with something that you said. You said, well, it's not this like kind of cutesy, RPA oriented use cases. We're talking about some big, hairy things that we're tackling.
Yes.
Give me an example of a big, hairy thing that you guys have tackled. I mean, obviously not in explicit, detail, but enough that I can get my hands around it.
Absolutely. Think about complex reinsurance claims ingestion, right?
Okay.
Think about all the complexity that goes with big, and these are typically, older files. There's, packed in, we see, 500, 700 page, spreadsheets that come rolling in. Or think about this in the complex, very, very complex commercial specialty underwriting space. When you're thinking about, a master property addendum and the support addendums that have, 800 to 1,000 different properties listed, how today in the current state, we will typically see that there's either nearshore or offshore teams that are devoted to that function, just the input, right? Exactly. You nailed it. Then you bring that in, and sometimes that goes circular. Oh, this should go to this team, this should go to this team. We got to get that sorted. Oh, that goes over to this team. And before you know it, again, at the time the decisions were made, they were likely best in class for a return on investment. Yet over time, they start to get, fragmented, and some of these kind of start to go circular. Then all the while, these use cases sit on top of that same green screen technology we were just poking fun at. Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, these organizations want to go to cloud-based, best in class, core admin. So how do you just put that in a box and slap an 8-week sticker on it, right? And that's exactly where our team can come in with the pre-built solutions. Take, for instance, very complex reinsurance claims, be able to provide material benefit that, both provides labor relief to the operations organization using our, GenAI, extractions and contextualizations and, intent, align that to, a straight through process model that, accelerates efficiency. Let's say 60%. That's very typical. We go from a pre and post. So if the pre was 20% straight through, the post is going to be 80% straight through in 8 weeks when we turn it on and go live. And then from there, that aligns to that legacy system. Now we go to the next phase. I'm going to go to the next phase. And that's why if you look, in particular at Appian's customer retention and our radiation capability, it's one of the best in class because of that, the ability that, Appian customers love Appian and then continue to buy more Appian.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.